What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back. Now this looks like it's a light, right? It's not a light, it's blackout film. So today isn't really like a sunny day or anything, it's overcast, so it doesn't look too bad, but later on in the day, and if the sun comes out, it blasts in this room, which looks great, don't get me wrong, but it plays havoc with the camera. The camera just does not know what to do. Really bright bits, really dark bits. Anyway, it's annoying me. This is already sort of good. I like the misting effect there, so we're gonna get loads of light coming in. I just wanna black out these 3 squares at the top here, and you know, it'll still let light in because I've not gone full blackout, but it won't be so sort of like, brah. And also, you might be noticing the new merch. I don't like these toggly things though, hang on. There we go. Yeah, you might be noticing the new merch. We've got a rainbow fish, Boss Marnie. I don't know, I just thought it was cool. Look at that, you like it? I love it. It's available now, you can click down below and go to the shop and buy it if you want. And also I've got something else cool on as well. Hey? What do we think? Camouflage. Crocs, I mean, I say camouflage, you can clearly see them, so they can't be that camouflage, can they? You all take the mick out of me for my Crocs, so I thought rather than not wear them, I'll wear even cooler ones. Right, so I'm not sure how well that sort of comes out on camera, but that is 80% tint. I think that means 20% light comes through. Surely it does, otherwise it wouldn't be darker, would it, I think? But yeah, it's made such a difference already. I feel like the lighting is more consistent. It's gonna be less affected by clouds coming in and out. This is all boring stuff for you guys probably, but when you're trying to make video, like lighting is so important. And I feel like I can just produce better quality for you now. Now that I put that effort in to do that. I've had it for a while, but I kept putting it off because this was one of those jobs. I want to make tanks and stuff. I don't want to do that, but it's done now and I can carry on. So yeah, I have been busy, guys. I'll get onto this tank in a minute, but you know that a few weeks ago I made this red tank here with all the white fish. Well, it's growing in fantastically well and the plants are fully settled and growing as you'd expect them to, look, growing upright. Big leaves on the top as well, almost hitting the surface. It'll be another week or so and I'll have to do a big trim up. And then this is the most recent setup for my enders that you can see here. That's already growing in so well. I released a video like 2 days ago for the build, but obviously I actually finished it like half a week to a week ago now. And already at the back, the stems are hitting the surface. Again, we need to be trimming regularly nowadays. I think it's because I've got such good lighting from Superfish, budget, but still so good. And also the high nutrients in the substrate system that we set up. Now, a lot of people are asking me, how am I getting such good growth and also such good reds without CO2? Well, CO2 isn't actually really necessary to get red plants. I think it's a high nutrient level and a high lighting level. Now the trick is to be able to get that high lighting, high nutrients without causing algae to sort of just burst into life and just cover everything in your aquarium. And because I've done this quite a lot now, I'm quite good at sort of gauging what's too much light, what's too little. Every tank is different in the day. If we've got a load of hardscape like this one that's hitting the surface, well, it's causing sort of shadows below and it's non-reflective, the wood is, so again, it just brings everything down. A darker substrate system means you're gonna get less light bouncing up. So everything needs to be sort of taken into account. In this one, I've just left the light on max power because of these things. We've got the floating plants in and there's no filter in that tank as well, but it seems to be working perfectly well at the moment. And I'm sure you actually saw this as well then. So this is a really cool aquarium I've been working on. Aquafleur, they sent me, I'll put a clip up, they sent me so many plants. I ordered basically every one I could. I missed out on a few of them just because I completely forgot, but this has just got all the plants I could. I got 2 pots of each and just gone everywhere in there. Now this of course will be part of a build video. By the time you see the build video though, I'm gonna wait a good few weeks, get everything growing in that, so it's actually gonna look 10 times better than this. This will just be an update part of the video, so I'm fine letting you see it because you're not gonna, this isn't important. It's gonna be so much better. Look at that Rotala macrandra there. You can see how it grows out of water, which is all the bottom leaves. And that little tip that you see with all the red there is the new growth. We are absolutely pumping in the CO2 in this one as well. I've got no livestock in there, so well actually this is the right amount because over here the drop checker is the perfect green, but I am literally so many bubbles a second here. Let's have a look down here. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, the idea is to really get these plants growing in really good height. And it's kind of like, I've gone for like a Dutchy style, but with one big piece of hardscape that is off the bottom. There's only a couple of little contact points on the bottom, which meant that I had so much room for planting, and it's working so well so far. I'm really looking forward to this one. I've got some cool fish to go in there as well, but I'm nowhere near ready for that point yet. Going to be about another week and a half, I reckon, before I get like plants in it. We've got the WRGB Chihiros 2. I always forget the names of these things. The Chihiros light, the good one, the same one that we've got over on this bad boy. Now I actually set it up like, well over a month ago now, so it's like more than a month old. I think it's getting on for like 6 weeks, something like that. I'll show you some clips in that of, you know, when we set it up. It looks completely different now to what it did then. It's just everything. It's actually had 2 trims already as well, and it's still this thick and full. So you can see in this section here, that Ludwigia in the middle was all cut back. These, this Rotella HR all cut back. Those are all brand new leaves you're going to see there from the Nymphoides, is it Taiwan, Nymphelia, I don't know, it's one of the lotusy ones. Anyway, it just looks so good, doesn't it? And if you look down here, the buces constantly growing new leaves as well, which I've always kind of struggled with growing buces, not with keeping them alive and having them look pretty. I've always been good with that, but actually growing them is a different story. And in this tank, they are growing. Now you would expect that because it's had constant CO2, which is literally just running out now. I can see in the gap there, it's less than it was, but still there's enough. I mean, we've got blue here, so it's not enough technically for what is deemed enough. But anyway, that's good though, because the canister, again, same system that I'm using over on the other new tank, which is the Colombo, like it's like a DIY one. It's like citric acid and baking soda, and you just pour it all in and it just creates the CO2. Well, I did that when we started the tank, and it's now, like I say, 6 weeks. So that makes sense that it's going to last about that long. I did keep it on the sort of lesser side. I didn't want to go too high with the CO2, a bit scared, didn't want to risk, you know, any fish deaths or anything like that, so I didn't go crazy with it, but I don't think I needed to, because obviously the results are speaking for themselves, aren't they? Now, when I put the Bulbitis in here, it wasn't looking that fantastic, but now it's sort of repaired itself, if you like. We've got some darker patches on some of the leaves, but look, all of that there is brand new growth, and at the moment there's more brand new growth than there is the older growth, which is there. It's all brand new and it's just looking so good. Now obviously with anything sort of controversial, as this tank was, because I put so many female bettas in there, 60 in total, there's going to be questions, and there was questions asked apparently. A lot of forums and on Facebook, apparently people saying stuff. I don't know this because I don't go on those things, but Matt and some other people told me that lots of people were saying that it was cruel and that kind of thing. I don't agree. I really don't agree at all. The tank is doing so good, as are the girls. Now, after I put the girls in, a lot of people were worried about like stress stripes and things like that. So if you take a look down here, for instance, on this fish, you don't see any stress stripes. That's because that coloration on that Betta doesn't have them. But then say you come across this one, and it does. Now these are all juvenile females, they're not adult size or anything, and apparently when they're juveniles like this, they still always sort of have stress stripes because their coloration hasn't changed into their adult form, and their young coloration always shows them. I guess it's a form of defense. I mean, if you show stress in aggression, it would make sense that the youngsters would always have them, because then a fish might be less interested, I guess. Look at this beauty here. She's absolutely stunning, right? She's okay. She's just resting there. Again, that coloration doesn't have the stripes, and she's attacking something. I don't know what. It's probably a little snail or something in there. So yeah, you've got the different colorations. You've got the different types of fish. Now, I've never seen any aggression between the girls. I've never seen them fighting at all. So the theory of what we did was, we thought if we overstock it, they're not going to become territorial, and they just sort of float around going everywhere they like. And actually that's what's happened, and there's been nothing I can note at all off the top of my head that suggests there's been aggression. Now, as always, I want to be fully honest with you. There has been 2 deaths out of the 60 since I got the girls and put them in. Now this was quite early on. It was after about 4 or 5 days of putting them in. I came in the mornings and noticed that there was 2 gone. They were basically skeletons at that point. So if you buy a lot of fish all in one go, a big group like 60, there will always be a couple of fatalities. it's unfortunate, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles. Once or twice I've done a whole group going together in a tank and there not been any problems. To be honest, most of my rainbows, I never have any problems with those, but smaller fish I'm talking about, it might just be that those particular two were very weak genetically, not visually, but inside something. They didn't react to any sort of change or stress as well as all the others. So yeah, sadly that happens. But like I say, I want to be honest with you, I've lost 2 out of the 60. In a month and a half. I think that's pretty decent, and that was very, very much at the start when stuff was all sort of settling in, the fish were finding their own sort of balance and everything. So I think that's pretty good going. Sad to lose the 2 even, of course, but out of 60, you know, I think that's really good numbers. And of course, I could have just not told you that, couldn't I? But that's not what we do here. I give you honesty, that's what happened, so that's what you're knowing, telling, saying, that's what I'm saying to you. So today is feeding day. Now, I don't feed my fish every day. I tend to do it like every other day. But here I've got a little mix. This is a little concoction I've made. So at the moment, we've got quite a lot of small fish. We've got loads of babies, baby enders, and I've got a load of shrimp and that all dotted around in new tanks, which means there isn't a huge amount of biofilm and everything. So I have to prepare their food in a little bit of a different way to usual. So these are my algae wafers and Corey sort of sinking pellets from Aquarium. Now, at the moment for the babies, this is hard one-handed. So at the moment for the babies, the pellets, they are quite sort of large and there's no way they're gonna be able to eat any of those. The flake I could crumble up again, but a lot of it would stay uncrumbled. Some of it crumbles, some of it doesn't. So what I do is I take the pellets, take the algae wafer and some of the flake food. This is a fresh packet, which is awesome. Just finish up my other packet. So yeah, I take all 3 of these and put them inside. This right here, this is a coffee grinder, believe it or not, but it works absolutely perfectly. And once it's all grinded up in that, you get this awesome powder, which is perfect for like creating biofilm and making sure that the babies have got a good feed as well. So the rainbow tank, which is looking absolutely fantastic. The reds are really coming through. All the plants are growing fantastic. Look at that rotala green there, just growing and popping. The sage is just spreading everywhere. We've got like roots and runners just going into all the areas. That's exactly what I wanted it to do, just look completely natural. But if you look here, there's actually quite a lot of cories in here, and there's some big cories as well. We've got the leopard cories, which I'm not seeing at the moment, but they like to tuck themselves in between all the rocks and stuff. But I need to feed the pellets to them in this one. Okay, if we sort of stay side on, you might see them coming round. Quite a few of them. You need to make sure that they're all getting the food. And the rainbows will try and take some. I'll come this way. I've also got ottos and loads of bristlenose. They'll also pick at this, as well as the rainbows picking it off as well as they go. The big ones can easily eat that. Okay, I'll crumble up some flake for you as well. There we go. And they dart up at that. I'll leave them alone. Probably quite confused actually. There we go, they're going for it. That's quite cool, isn't it? Do love watching rainbows feed. They make loads of splash, constantly splashing. Look, they darted it so fast, it's wicked. So yeah, obviously all the normal sized fish get the normal food, including all the Betta fish. They'll get a crumble of the flake and that on the top as well. I'll leave in some algae wafers because there's some bristlenose down in there, some good sized ones as well. But we need to use the grinded up food for the babies and the shrimp. So if we look in this tank, there are an absolute ton of ender babies. So about the reflections, a little bit difficult in this area. It's quite a narrow little bit. It's the hardest part to film in the whole place, but it's just a holding tank, so I didn't really mind too much. Now you can see here, I've left this net here, and that's because there's actually 2 adult endlers still in there, and they're being very elusive. And every time I go into the tank, they hide again. Oh look, there's one. He's right down in that. Oh, there's both of them. Both of them are down in that corner. Male and the female. It's not focusing because it's a weird sort of angle, but yeah, I will get them, but we still need to feed this tank. So yeah, just a little pinch like this, look, it all sits right on the surface, but because we've got that little hang on the back filter, knocks it all in. There we go, look, all up there, and you can see it's all just filling the water column up, and all those babies just gonna go in. I've been doing this every day to make sure that babies get more food. And the same over here on the shrimp as well, just a little pinch. Not really huge amount at all, the tiniest little pinch, just to make sure that there's an ample supply of food, because obviously these are very, very fresh. They're like a week old, these tanks are. I need to make sure that all of them have got a food source, which doing that every day is going to be plenty for like, there's 10 shrimp, roughly 10 shrimp in each tank, so it's plenty. And you can see, look, it's all just falling down there. It'll rest on the plants, rest on the surface, and just create that sort of grazing habitat that the shrimp need. Shrimp are doing really good though, look, there's still a red one. Last time someone said in the comments, what's the betting that he leaves that red shrimp in there? Well, I did go and get a red out. I didn't realise there was more than one. I can see that one there. And maybe that at the back's a red one as well. It was silly of me. I think that was from the random scoop that was taken. Just all went in there. But yeah, no deaths out of all these shrimp, which is really, really good. It's probably the first time I've collected a load of brand new shrimp, put them in more tanks with no deaths at all. And that was 40 shrimp, well, probably a few more than that. It's all been absolutely perfect after 1 week. And usually if you can get that, you're on to a winner. God, look how beautiful that red one is there. That is proper red. I think it's got the red legs. So that means that it's a Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary apparently is like the skeleton as well. So hopefully you give me loads of babies. And then I also need to feed this tank, which is the shrimp owls. Again, doing well. They're seeing lots of different molts in here. I did earlier, I saw a molt, but I think they've eaten it, which is good. You want them to eat their own molts. So it means that they're getting their calcium. Slight haze, no filter, remember. So new setup, it goes through a little haze cycle and then it comes back out the other end and it will be crystal clear again. This always happens. In fact, it's exactly what happened recently on this tank. Again, no filter. It had a slight haze to the whole thing and all I done was just left it alone. I took out some floating plants actually, allowed a little bit more light in, and look at this hair grassed carpet. No CO2, no filter. Looks so good, doesn't it? The fish in here are getting bigger now. They're not as small as they were. They are still tiny. These are the ruby tetra, you see, and they just look so good, don't they? Good little group in there. It's an interesting little tank. I love it actually. It's very simple. Maybe I should cut off the leaves. Like these are immersed growth leaves, so they stay alive, but they don't really grow when they're underwater because the plant focuses on the submerged leaves, which is all these darker ones you can sort of see. We've got a full green Echinodoros Belleri at the back, so we've still got our green. So maybe I should just cut off these round ones because they're not doing anything apart from looking a bit tatty. The cories are out. I just saw it. There we go. There's a skunk cory, nice big one there, and then we've got the Venezuelan. They're all coming out as well. Look at this, brilliant. Otto, bristlenose. Poor little bristlenose. I'm going to give him some tablets as well because they will, like I say, they will eat those the cory pellets, but they prefer to have the algae wafers. Look at this brilliant one. Look at that. See, that's it's classed as a standard, but look at the spots on it. Such a beautiful looking fish for something that's not specialist, if you like. That's just a standard bristlenose pleco, but yeah, I love that. Oh, sorry. Here you go, bristlenoses. Have some algae wafers. I like to leave the algae wafers full-sized, and it tends to mean that they stay full-sized, and like the bigger bristlenose can just latch straight onto them. I'll normally put 5, and I normally put 5 in a tank, and then I also put 2 on this side as well, and then that way, all the way around, the fish has got like options. Oh yeah, there is one thing that I did want to ask you all about. So I've obviously got an empty 4-foot tank there. Now I'm not 100% sure on what I want to do with it. I've also got one over there. See, another 4-foot tank there. So either that one or this one. I'm thinking either I do another red tank like this, but the next step up, we've done a 45 centimeter, a 60 centimeter. This could be all red, just looking absolutely like boom next to all the green ones. We could do that. We could do that one over there as well if we wanted to. Or we could have this one. I want to do like a classic nature aquarium again, like I did before for my angelfish in my old studio, which was at my house, the one that was a shed. So idea being, this could be like, think of it like a proper rock retaining wall all the way across, lots of big sticks, loads of ferns, really shallow decorative sand at the front. You know, that classic nature aquarium way basically, with not too many different sort of bright colours and stuff, keep it looking proper natural. I think that might be a cool one for there, because this one next to it is going to be like a sweetie shop. It's going to be like Skittles in the tank when all the colours start popping through and growing up really tall and that. Kind of like this one is as well to the side. So if we keep this one really basic, I guess, or just do for the traditional style, and I'm talking then like a proper nature aquarium, but without the CO2, so a low-tech style, you know, the way I do it. So yeah, if you've made it this far, let me know, what should I do? A 4-foot red aquarium or a proper classic nature style, low-tech though, in my sort of signature style that hopefully, well, it's not mine, it's like Amano's, George Farmer's and everyone else's, to be honest, but most of those guys always use full CO2 systems, but I don't. For a low-tech one, I like to do it so that you guys can have a go as well, because not a lot of you want to do CO2 systems, although I'm leaning into it a little bit more now with the options that we've got. Basically, I'm happy to use a CO2 system. That means I don't have to take my bottle anyway and get it filled up at random places that I haven't got a clue where to go to. Anyway, let me know in the comments and I will see you guys on the next one.